Remember the days when a snarky doctor with a cane was the most entertaining and occasionally infuriating presence on TV?
We've got rectal bleeding.
What, all of you?
House MD brought us medical mysteries, life-or-death diagnoses, and a team of doctors who somehow tolerated Dr. Gregory House's endless wisecracks. Years have passed since we last roamed Princeton-Plainsboro's halls, so let's see where the cast ended up. He was the charming, unflappable Australian who started off as House's obliging sidekick. Under that suave accent, though, lay a competent and occasionally conflicted surgeon, grappling with his own moral lines as House pushed boundaries. Shortly after House MD wrapped in 2012, Jesse Spencer traded scalpels for fire hoses on Chicago Fire until 2021, portraying Lieutenant Matthew Casey. He popped up in crossover episodes with Chicago PD and Chicago Med, creating a mini television universe around first responders. Aside from that high-profile stretch, he's kept things relatively on the low, focusing on long-running TV commitments rather than chasing quick film roles. Little fuss surfaced in the media, beyond the usual speculations about his next career steps. He navigated leaving a successful show, Chicago Fire, after nearly a decade, citing a desire for new challenges. Recently, Jesse Spencer is set to lead the 8-episode Disney Plus limited series Last Days of the Space Age, in which he portrays Tony Bissett. The series, filmed in Australia and set in 1979 Western Australia, marks his first major project since wrapping up Chicago Fire and a nostalgic return to his homeland. Mysterious, sardonic, and not afraid to match House's cynicism blow for blow, 13 arrived with her own life-or-death secret, Huntington's disease. Her rebellious streak made her House's favorite puzzle, and fans couldn't get enough of her moral gray zones. After departing the show around 2012, Olivia Wilde landed roles in Tron Legacy, Cowboys and Aliens, and a cameo in Her 2013. She then pivoted to directing with Booksmart in 2019 and Don't Worry Darling in 2022, stepping behind the camera to craft her own brand of bold storytelling. She also produced smaller indie projects that showcased emerging talent. Her relationships, notably with Harry Styles, occasionally grabbed headlines, but the real story was her rapid shift from actress to sought-after filmmaker. She's also discussed balancing parenthood while juggling increasingly ambitious creative pursuits. As of 2025, Olivia Wilde is actively engaged in multiple high-profile projects. She is set to direct the TV adaptation of Jennifer Egan's Pulitzer Prize-winning A Visit from the Goon Squad for A24, her first major foray into TV directing. In addition, her erotic thriller I Want Your Sex, directed by Greg Araki and featuring an ensemble cast, is currently in post-production with a planned release later this year. Wilde's dual legacy as an innovative filmmaker and a dynamic on-screen presence continues to attract acclaim and anticipation for her next creative ventures. Wilson was House's best friend, occasional doormat, and the moral compass that tried, in vain, to keep House from self-destructing. Ever ready with concern and exasperated sighs, he balanced the hospital's swirling chaos by actually caring. When House MD concluded in 2012, Robert Sean Leonard slipped back into his comfort zone, stage acting. He performed in several regional and Broadway productions, including To Kill a Mockingbird in various theater runs. TV guest roles followed, a cameo in The Good Doctor for instance, but never overshadowed his love for live theater. Leonard's low-profile approach to Hollywood never changed. He has openly shared his preference for stage over screen, focusing on craft rather than chasing mainstream fame. He returns to the stage whenever possible, occasionally accepting supporting roles in limited TV projects. Fans appreciate him as the same earnest actor they remember, unaffected by showbiz glitz. He limped onto our screens as the surliest diagnostician ever, popping Vicodin like mints and skewering colleagues and patients with blistering one-liners. Gregory House was the last guy you'd want for bedside manner, but the first one you'd actually want to save your life. After leaving Princeton-Plainsboro behind in 2012, Hugh Laurie explored darker espionage territory with The Night Manager in 2016, earning critical praise for his chilling performance. He pivoted into psychological drama with Chance, then unleashed deadpan humor in sci-fi comedy Avenue 5 from 2020 to 2022. Beyond acting, he nurtured his musical side, touring blues albums and showcasing talents far removed from House's grim hospital hallways. Despite his legendary status, he admits that maintaining solitude and creative freedom is an ongoing struggle, one that compels him to set strict personal boundaries. Laurie also embraces his blues roots and often reflects on how music and humor have helped him navigate the inevitable loneliness of stardom. As of early 2025, Hugh Laurie remains a dynamic creative force. According to an exclusive Deadline report, he is set to headline the new BBC limited series The Final Diagnosis, a darkly comedic drama that re-examines modern medicine's ethical dilemmas, scheduled to premiere mid-2025. At the same time, Laurie is channeling his lifelong passion for blues into his next musical project, the album Midnight Rambler, which is slated for release later this year and promises to blend his signature wit with soulful melodies. These ventures underscore his enduring versatility, proving that even long after House's Final Diagnosis, his inventive spirit and incisive humor remain as vital as ever. As the team's moral North Star, Cameron fought to maintain empathy among House's cynical test of the week environment. She wore her heart on her lab coat and occasionally clashed with House's harsh reality checks. Jennifer Morrison was already phasing out of House MD near 2010, but truly soared post-series with her lead role in Once Upon a Time, 2011 to 2018, as Emma Swan, the reluctant savior in a fairy tale world. She revisited comedic bits in How I Met Your Mother as Zoe and tried her hand at directing with the independent film Sundogs in 2017. She continued building that skill set, directing episodes of popular TV series and dabbling in producing. She's often mentioned the challenge of transitioning from a supportive ensemble role to carrying a series on her shoulders. The pivot to directing required learning fresh skill sets, which she's handled with trademark determination. She occasionally pops up in front of the camera but has leaned more into directing TV episodes and smaller films. Rumors hint at more behind-the-camera work, reflecting her evolving artistic ambitions. As Princeton-Plainsboro's Dean of Medicine, she balanced House's chaos against the hospital's need for order. Cuddy was the voice of reason who discovered that controlling House was like herding caffeinated cats, practically impossible. Post-2011, Lisa Edelstein appeared on The Good Wife and found a memorable lead in Girlfriend's Guide to Divorce from 2014 to 2018. She also had an impactful arc in The Kaminsky Method, playing opposite Michael Douglas and Alan Arkin. Meanwhile, smaller TV roles and occasional guest spots sprinkled variety into her resume. Edelstein remains private yet candid about the challenges shaping her life. She's spoken about Hollywood's relentless grind and typecasting that once left her drained, transforming these hardships into evocative watercolors inspired by intimate family photos. Balancing raising her stepchildren with pursuing creative roles, she now champions better opportunities for women in film, proving that vulnerability can become a powerful source of artistic strength. She occasionally surfaces in short-run series or recurring TV arcs, continuing to portray multifaceted women who don't shy away from a challenge, even if the challenge is less arrogant than Gregory House. Kuttner was the spark of enthusiasm in House's team. Bright, quirky, and full of ideas, until his story took a tragic turn, catching viewers off guard. Off-screen, fans learned the shocking exit aligned with Kal Penn's real-life pivot to politics. After leaving the show in 2009, Penn accepted a role in the Obama administration's Office of Public Engagement. He briefly returned to Hollywood for more Harold and Kumar antics and some comedic TV roles. In subsequent years, he balanced stints in Designated Survivor and hosting gigs on various TV specials. He's spoken about bridging the worlds of politics and entertainment, often facing skepticism from both sides. While personal details remain mostly private, he recently came out publicly, noting the support he received from fans and colleagues alike. He continues to alternate between activism, comedic projects, and occasional hosting or reality-based programming. The man once known as Kuttner is proof that stepping out of the ER can lead to unexpected places. Foreman was a level-headed neurologist who repeatedly clashed with House's wild methods, yet ironically picked up some House-like traits. He was the caretaker of rules until House goaded him to break them. Immediately following the show, Omar Epps took a leading role in Resurrection from 2014 to 2015, exploring eerie sci-fi territory. He then joined the cast of Shooter from 2016 to 2018, stepping into an action-driven environment. Further appearances in films like Almost Christmas in 2016 and smaller projects showcased his range, moving beyond the intense hospital drama. He's kept family matters relatively discreet, focusing on an enduring career without craving tabloid headlines. He's voiced the challenge of not getting typecast as the serious doc, but fans appreciate his breadth of roles. He periodically stars in crime or drama series, rumored to be eyeing a producing venture. Although not always front-page news, Epps maintains a strong foothold in TV and film, reflecting the same unwavering dedication as Dr. Foreman. Late to House's team, Adams tackled unsolvable diagnosis with wide-eyed determination, forging her place amid the show's well-oiled dynamic. She had the unenviable task of filling shoes left by prior team members, and House's sarcasm didn't help. After House MD ended, Odette Annabelle found her footing in gritty series like Banshee from 2014 to 2016, then shifted into more mainstream exposure through recurring roles on the CW Supergirl. She's hopped across genres, superhero drama, suspenseful thrillers, and comedic cameos, finding a niche in multiple TV universes. She's juggled family life, occasionally stepping back from high-profile gigs to maintain balance. Interviews hint at her preference for projects with strong character arcs over merely star-driven roles. Recent talks suggest she's eyeing new pilot scripts and streaming series that lean into drama or light comedy. She remains a familiar face in network television lineups. Chi Park was the socially awkward junior doc with unexpected sparks of insight. Her timid speech often carried savage punchlines, leaving House briefly speechless. A near impossibility! Charlene Yee brought her idiosyncratic humor to numerous comedic films and TV shows. She had voice roles in Steven Universe and Summer Camp Island, while also popping up in cameo parts across the Judd Apatow comedic sphere. She returned to her stand-up and musical roots, periodically performing sets that blend surreal humor with guitar riffs. She's known for candidly discussing mental health and activism, sometimes stepping away from big projects to focus on personal well-being. She continues balancing voice acting, indie film roles, and comedic performances, forging her own distinct path that resonates with fans who prefer laughter with a dash of the absurd. The House MD legacy lives on, a show that made medical mysteries strangely addictive. Anchored by a doctor whose bedside manner was about as soft as a sledgehammer, the cast grew along with us, branching into directing, tackling White House roles, or becoming stage powerhouses. If you're feeling nostalgic, consider revisiting Princeton-Plainsboro, where each case
It's never lupus.
until it was, and each character learned something, often the hard way. They've all moved forward, but the witty chaos of House MD remains a milestone in televised brilliance.